Hey, how's it going? Just a little impromptu eBay live here. Hold on while I share this out. Maybe we'll get a few more views in here. I didn't announce this at all, so I'm going to do that right now. And maybe we'll get a few people in here, but that's not the reason we're in here. So just give me a second. How's everybody doing? If you're watching this later, the chat shows up like probably 12 hours later. So I don't know if there's going to be too many people in here anyway. But yeah, that's not right. How is everybody doing with inflation? This inflation is, I always have to think twice, when I'm going out, can I get like two or three things done at once, instead of just going across town to get some groceries. I'm like, okay, what else can I do to make this trip be worth it? And there we go. Sorry, it took me a second to get the link going here. Turn that off. Just a quick thing about me. I normally do YouTube stuff about photography, but I kind of treat YouTube like Facebook. So anybody? All right, there we go. Let me get back here. All right, so yeah, I treat YouTube like MySpace because I have so many interests. My main deal is photography, and my main eBay selling thing is photography as well. So some people will watch this just because I'm doing photography type stuff. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Today, with inflation and all, I said before, I always try to do a bunch of stuff. If I'm going out, I'm like, okay, I need to do something besides just go to that one store. I need to go, take some stuff to the dump, or I try to get all in one, so I'm not using as much gas. And I've taken down my sourcing from thrift stores and other places that I have to drive to because gas costs so much. So I'm outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm about 20, 25 miles outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. So if I drive all the way out there and hit some thrift stores and find nothing, and I'm driving around, coming back, it's going to cost me like 20 bucks in gas just to do that, not plus my time. And I don't always find stuff. So, but I did go out sourcing today. So I'm going to talk about that and what I found. There was some good stuff out there. Luckily, I didn't waste my time or my gas going out there. So I'll be going over that. You kind of might have seen in the thumbnail the stuff that some of the stuff that I got. Didn't find a ton of stuff, but um, let's go over that now. What did I find today? So I'm always looking for, like I said, photography stuff is my niche. I have like 500 listings in my store. Um, so all of them are photography stuff, 99% of them. So I only found one lens today. And there was some camera stuff out there, but if you noticed that the thrift stores, the prices are going up on them. The workers that are at the thrift stores, they look up pretty much every item. But there's some stuff they just want, maybe when they get overwhelmed or somebody else is kind of lazy about pricing stuff, they won't look stuff up. This is a lens I found. They have probably 8 lenses in there, and this one wasn't behind the. They always put the camera stuff behind the counter. This one was not behind the counter, which is funny. Photography stuff, I think I'd have to ask one of the workers. It's probably the most stolen stuff inside the thrift store because I've seen lenses with the inside a case, and I've gone back in there. I looked at the lens and it had like fungus and it wasn't worth anything. And I came back a week later and the case was sitting there and the lens was gone. So it's like somebody I think stole it or whatnot, but I don't know. But I've seen that several times, and I guess that's why all the cameras or photography stuff are usually behind the counter, and you have to ask. But this is what I got here. Let me put my glasses on so I can tell you what it is. This was $20, and it is a Minolta 28 millimeter f3.5. This is what I got. It was $20. I'll sell it for around 50. So not a huge deal there, but at least I found something in my niche photography stuff. So I didn't have to look this up since I already know what it's worth. And I've sold these before, so it was easy. I was like, but some of the other ones they were listed even above eBay prices. So some of this thrift store stuff, man, is just going going crazy. Hold on a second. What else did I find? As you saw in the thumbnail there, this is totally out of my niche, but I was going out there. I was like, okay, if I need to look at other stuff, which I generally do, but I probably would have passed on this stuff. But I'm like, it's cheap. So I've got these Mustang monthly magazines. They had a ton of these, so I went and looked them up. It's kind of cool. I went and looked up a few of them, and there's like a zillion on eBay. So it's one of those items that might sit forever if I listed these individually. The price on these were 49 cents each, or three for 99 cents. So I just picked up 12 of them. It's out of my niche. Some of the other guys, if you've watched some of the YouTube stuff, they would have picked up everything there just because they're so cheap. These are from the 80s, but they do have the subscription thing on here. But here I'll go through a few of them. That one's cool. And these are all. I think I picked up some from '83 and '85. And some of these sell. I looked at the comps, and some of them sell for like $8 or whatnot, plus shipping if you're doing them individually. Some of these do have like a signature or writing in the corner, but very cool. A lot of people love car Mustangs and all that stuff. So we'll see how that goes. What I'm going to do, I don't like to sit on stuff a lot. So, there's, like I said, a lot of eBayers, that's what they'll do. They'll buy something super cheap like this and list it for $15 and let it sit there for a couple of years. They don't have any money in it, but that's not my philosophy. It works. My current store, I like to list stuff and have it sell super quick. Some of it doesn't. I'll go over some stuff that I buy that's not, and I'm going to put in my store. But that's my theory. I might open another store since I am a full-time eBay reseller. Well, I do have another store, but not store, another account. And I might list some of this stuff that is just going to sit there forever and put all these at, $10, $15 a piece and just let them sit there. But what I'm going to do on these is I'm going to list them at auction. There was a couple auctions that sold where they had a few of these. So I've got 12 of them here. I'm going to list 6 of them and start the auction out at $9.99 for 10 days and see what happens. Maybe they'll get a little bidding more on there, because most of the ones that sold weren't from the 80s. They were from the 90s or later. So I'm not sure how these are going to sell. If they don't sell within that first auction, I'm going to just put them, buy it now, $9.99, and just go from there and see how long they take to sell. I did list some Beckett baseball magazines that I bought at Goodwill, like super cheap. I had a bunch, and I think they were 25 cents each. And the cashier said, anytime you want to buy a bunch of magazines, just come up here. And she's like, and tell us what you want. And she's like, I had this big box, and she said, how about $3 or $4 for the whole thing? I was like, yeah, that's fine. And I sold one lot. I did list them in lots. I sold one lot like right off the bat. These were 90s like wax era junk stuff from Beckett. So Beckett magazine or whatever. So yeah, I listed that, and then the rest like sat there for like a year and a half. I'm like, okay, and I had them dirt cheap anyway. I was just like, I'm just gonna donate these, just get them off my store. That if you have a bunch of stuff sitting like that, you have like thousands of items, and you're only selling like 3 or 4 things a day. It's like I don't know. That's my philosophy at least. So we'll see how this does. Like I said, I just wanted to buy something just so my trip would not be wasted. And these are pretty cool. I might look through. I mean, I'm not really a Mustang car guy, but it might be kind of cool to look through these '80s magazines and reminisce. Now, the best find of the day from my thrifting was this item. Like I said, sometimes they don't look up stuff on eBay. Anytime you see one of these, you want to buy it. I knew that it was kind of worth something, but I went ahead and comped it because it was an older model. This is a Dymo printer. Got it for $12.99. I don't know if you can see that. It's got the cables and everything in here. Um, but yeah, which one is this? This is the Label Writer Twin Turbo. Model number is, sorry, it's a 93085. So I looked this up. The comps of this broken are from 60 to $80. So if it's not working, this is actually, I could take this back if it's broken. They said they gave me a little receipt. I can do that, but obviously I'm not going to take it back if it's broken because I could sell it for 68 or bucks. But with it working, it's like 150 to 180. So I'll need to test this out. A lot of times when I buy this stuff, it just kind of sits there. It just kind of sits there in my death pile or whatever. Oh, I also bought this. I use these Panasonic batteries to test out some of my photography stuff. So I got just a backup shooter for me personally. Before I go in, I mainly source online. I found that's the best way, especially with the gas prices being so high. And plus, you're not wasting as much time. I could sit there for an hour. I could find multiple things instead of going around to 4 or 5 different thrift stores and not finding anything and taking that, that would probably take 4 hours. So, uh, something to think about there. Just if you have your niche, you know what to look for, you know what to find, and you know what the prices are, so it doesn't take you as much time. So that's why I believe you should always have your niche. And like I said, photography type items are my niche. Excuse me for a second. All right. So this is oh, while I'm on the thrift stores or whatnot. Have you ever seen these videos or seen on the forums or different forums or Facebook groups where they're talking about the bins, the Goodwill bins? And I'm like, I had never been to one of those, but several months back, I googled where are the Goodwill bins. We were going down to Chattanooga, so there's a Goodwill bin down in Chattanooga. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check this out. So basically, if you don't know what the bins are, it's a Goodwill like outlet, and basically you're buying stuff by the pound. So they'll just load up these big bins of clothes and whatever in a big bin and roll it out, and basically a bunch of people will just be searching through it, rambling through it, trying to get all the good stuff when it first comes out, and it's real cheap by the pound. But we went to the one in Chattanooga, not knowing Chattanooga too well. This place was it was basically in the hood of projects. And I was like, when we were driving up through there, I was like, man, I don't want to be here at night. So anyway, we went in there and uh, the items were like all thrown in the bins, and it just a lot of it just looked really really bad. And I'm thinking, man, do I want to put my hands in there? There might be needles or something in there. It just was not a good experience at all. I did search a little bit, but I, I didn't see anything. And most of it was clothing. I don't sell clothing that often, so I just wanted to see that experience. So let me know if you've been to the bins and had a different experience. Where was it? But yeah, I'm definitely not go back there. It was yeah, and the whole place was just dirty and disgusting. If I bought anything from there, hey, there's my cat. I definitely need to wash it. It was not a good experience. So let's talk about what I did sourcing wise on. I'll just show you what one item or one lot. When I source online, I try to buy lots of stuff. If you buy lots stuff. You could get it cheaper per item and then resell it for a little bit more. So that's what I try to do with my photography stuff. I got this off an auction for $65 with shipping, and there's a ton of stuff in here I'm going to go through. And when I said I don't like to buy stuff that sits, some of this stuff is going to sit, but it's a photography item. But so I know somebody will end up buying it. Seems a little contradictory what I said, but anyway, we've got some Petri stuff. These old cameras, pretty cool. There was 3 different cameras in there, and you have to know how to test your stuff. I could test it right off the bat and know these aren't. 2 of these weren't working, which is fine. It doesn't matter. I've got 65 bucks into it, and these are both exactly the same. So I'm gonna list these in a lot and sell it for $22.99 is what I'm gonna start out. I always try to price my stuff cheaper so it sells really quick. As is for parts or whatnot. And I could ship these both in a padded flat rate envelope for under $9. So that's what I'll do, and just put some bubble wrap around them so they'll arrive safely, even though they are broken. But just the shutters don't, it doesn't cock back and it doesn't fire. So, but it came with all these different lenses. The lenses, if you don't know, our lenses are always worth more than these on these film cameras, are worth more than the film cameras. It did come with this third camera that does work. It's kind of cool that the shutter button's usually up here. I like these older ones when it's like that. But yeah, this is the more expensive model, so that's kind of cool. I'll get right to it and show you the one lens that was in here that is kind of cool. Was it? Oh, not that one. This one. Let me put my glasses back on. This is a 55 f1.4 Petri. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hazing or something there in the corners, but it's not enough to actually affect the photography, since I know my stuff really well. But I'll make sure and put that in the listing. But if you look this one up, this is a what you call a FT mount, because these cameras were FT. Petri also did M42 mount on the cameras, and then they went to this, and then they went back to M42 mount. If you do a little research, you'll see that. But there's only 4 or 5 of these on eBay, and this one is the highest is listed at like $800. And then I think there's one for $80, and there's several for around the $300 to $400 range. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to list this at, I'm going to say, there's a little stuff inside there. It shouldn't affect image quality. But what I'm going to list it as, I'm going to put rare in the title, and then list it for $100. And you know who will buy this? Probably not a collector. It will be another eBay seller, because they'll see, oh wow, there's some listed at $800 and it's rare, and he just listed it. A lot of people do that. Some of the other resellers, they'll buy stuff from eBay. I do it as well, but they'll be constantly checking the new items listed, and when something comes available cheap, they'll buy it, and they'll see that rare, and then they'll look it up, and they'll see there's only 4 of them, and somebody has it listed at $800. So it will probably go to another eBay seller, and they'll have to sit on it for a while. But at $100, they could probably resell it for $200 or $300. So that's what I'll do on this one. I don't want to sit on it for too long, but cool lens. And then it's because anytime you're looking for, you find a lens, if it has a f1.4 there, let me show you real quick. If you're not familiar with lenses, it'll have that. You see up there, 1:14. They're usually 50 or 55 millimeters. It will say on here. Those are ones you need to pick up because they're whatever name brand they are, because they're highly desirable. They could go from 50 all the way up to several $100s. So always be looking out for f1.4 lenses. And I've never found one at a thrift store, but f1.2 are even better. So the lower the aperture number, the higher the value on the lenses there. So, oh, you've had some luck with Poshmark and Macari lately. Okay, William, do you sell mostly clothes? What are you selling? I guess on Poshmark you are, but what are you selling on Macari? A lot of people sell video games on there. Oh, you've had a lot of 50 millimeter 1.2. Now, a lot of people get them mixed up, and I've seen people list them wrong. Like this one, for instance. And I got, well, no, this is f1.8, but it has the colon, and they'll see the colon 1.8, and they'll list it as a f1.2 lens, which is completely different. That would be an f2 lens versus an f1.2 lens. And I've messaged some people about that before because it was selling for, you know, typically the f2 lenses sell for $40 or less, and they were selling them for, I think the auction already had it over $100. I'm like, dude, you're going to get a return. I'm just going to let you know. All right, Williams bought 2 Pentax camera bundles for $25 and $60. Were these autofocus bundles, or were they like K1000, or what was in the bundles that you got? Just kind of curious. I buy those bundles too, but the Pentax autofocus cameras, um, like, gosh, probably 70% of the time when I go to test them, they're broken. The older stuff is a lot better constructed. The manual focus stuff, like the K1000, some of those other ones. But anyway, oh, you buy them attached to cameras at thrift store. I've never seen one, but man, you got lucky on finding those f1.2s if you have. Um, how much do you remember? How much you ended up selling them for? Because gosh, well, I would guess most of them would be around $400 range, $300 to $400 range, depending on which one they are. And I would say like this lens that I spent $20 on it. If it was a third party lens, like this is Minolta, so it's not a third party lens. If it was like say Vivitar or Focal or Quantaray, there's no way I would spend $20 on it because that lens would only be worth $25 or something like that. So me knowing that this lens it sells for around $50, that's why I went ahead and picked it up, doubling, a little bit more than doubling my money, but after fees, it's doubling my money. So, oh, KR, yeah, KR Digital is yeah, good. Yeah, especially for that low price, man. That's great deal. MZ60, I bet it's broken with a 100 to 200. Yeah, that. So the KR, I'm not even looking. The KR probably sells for about 150. The if you've already sold them, 18 to 55, I sell those for about $40, and the 50 to that's actually, I think it's 55 to 200. That sells for around $40 too. All right. What else we got to talk about here? We're 23 minutes into it. If you have any questions, leave comments below. Like I said, I do photography stuff, so a little bit of other stuff. My sales lately, I guess I could talk about that. How have your sales been? Like I said, I have 500 listings. I typically sell 6 to 10 things a day, sometimes more. If I sell 6 or less, I consider that not so good day. Most of my items are under $50, but I like listing those because we're in this inflation. People are buying like too many super expensive items, so I think that helps me out a little bit. Everybody's always looking for a bargain, especially on eBay. That's why they're on eBay. So I do sell those stuff. So I did. It's been so long since I had a day where I didn't have a sale, but on July 3rd, I had one sale the whole day, whole day. um, yeah, that was like, man. And then July 4th, I think I had four sales. So those 2 days were low. My ultimate goal is to sell like $200 a day. That's what I put as a goal for me before I went full time. So the last 2 days had $350 worth of stuff sell, and then three like 380 or something like that another day. So you always have those days that are, so you sell more than other days. So um, yeah, and I was wondering how that would go with Fourth of July. Uh, Sometimes I've been selling on eBay for well over 10 years, but I've been doing it full time for a year and a half basically. But yeah, it was just interesting to see how that went. Let's see here. Any tips on selling old film era zoom lenses? It depends what you got. If they're, like I said, if they're third party lenses, they kind of don't sell for a ton, around 25 $30. It depends what you got. Just make sure to check them out and make sure they work. And like I said, if you're pricing them too high with shipping, that might be something that's not doing you well. So let me show you what I ship them in. This is what you should be shipping them in. You just gotta wrap some bubble wrap around them. If they're only worth $30, everybody, some people are like, "Oh, it's glass. You got to ship it." Blah 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 blah. No, this is what I do. I just wrap them in bubble wrap and throw them in here, and they're fine. So I charge shipping on all my lenses I sell, $8.99 shipping, and I use this envelope. And I also put in the listing, since I have so many lenses, I put up to 3 lenses can ship for $8.99 for the U.S. Um, I've got my store listed below. You can check out some of those and see how I'm have them listed. But that's the best way to sell them. And it's actually knowing your mounts. You got to put in the title, uh, what kind of mount it is, what's it for. So like one of these, like even these Petri, I mean that's what they are, but they're FT mount. Um, just fill up that whole, like you would with any other listing, that whole top part with just searchable things, not words that nobody's going to use to do a search, not like huge or something like that. Don't put those words in there. Fill it up with uh, with better words than that somebody would actually search. Like, well, I guess I could go through one right now. Here's another Petri one. This is um, a good way to do this. Is I'll explain how to do on this one. This is Soligor lens, so I would entitle this for Petri FT Soligor. You have to put four. Um, just that's the way eBay is. And then I'll put what it is. It is a 90 millimeter to 230 millimeter f4.5. I'll put that all in the description. And zoom lens. People are going to be looking for zoom lenses, and you'll probably still have some um, more space in there to leave some other stuff. So you could put four other cameras as well. Like this one doesn't have too many cameras for it. You put four FT-EE, this camera, and any other cameras will help out. Just like you would if you were listing like printer ink, you'll put like four, whatever, Canon, and then all these different models of the Canon printers that it would work with. That's a tip right there. And that I do that on all my listings, and it, it gets me more sales that way if you look through just the some of the other sales of the same lens, because a lot of people buy these cameras, newer digital cameras, and they have no clue. They might spend like up to $2,000 on a digital camera, and then they won't know what mount it is or whatnot. This is a Olympus EM10, or EM5, sorry, Mark III, and they won't know what lenses work on these. So you'll have to put like micro four thirds, and then just the kind of abbreviations, MFT or M 4.3 and put all those in there, and that will help with the searches a lot. And make sure to put those in the item specifics as well. Let's see here. Have I used Amazon to sell? No, I hadn't tried that. I've thought about it over the years, but I've never gotten around to do it. It seems like there's so many people on there. It seems like it would be hard to get into, but I'll probably need to give it a shot. Sold 2 Coolpix bridge cameras on there for around 160 each. Good job, man. That's great. Yeah, that's what I've been selling a lot lately is point and shoots. Oh my God, I've got probably 100 in my store right now, and I'm selling like, gosh, 4 to 6 of them per day. It seems like. So, I mean, but that's a good thing about them because when you find them, you usually find them dirt cheap. Like I don't spend over $10 on them. Most of them I find when they're in a big lot like that, nobody's testing them $5. If you looked at my, hey, I just sold something. Anyway, if you look at one of my last videos, I kind of showed around. I have this big table, and it's got just like gazillion chargers and batteries on it, and that's what I test all my stuff, and it helps out because I have big lots of. I should have done this so I could share my screen, but I didn't set it up that way. Maybe next time. Um, but yeah, when I test everything, I put tested in the title real big or working in the title real big, or if it's something like this, rare, all caps, just so it catches people's attention. I think that helps out with my sales. And yeah, let's see what else here. Okay, you bought a small 8mm lens for 15 bucks for the Pentax Q. Now the same lens is $45 or more. Now I had a Q. I've had several Q cameras, but I bought several adapters for them, and I've got a Q adapter, 2 in a lot that they've been sitting on eBay for God over a year now, and they're decently priced. I don't know. Um, are those lenses selling for $45? I think the Q market is kind of, you have to find the right person on those. It seems like the market isn't as cool. There has to be some like some huge Instagram person that shoots with that only, and then all of a sudden people bunch of will start buying them again, and then the price will go up on there. Okay, how much do I test a film camera before I list it, and what do you do? All right, I guess I'll show you on this one. I tested this one, and it takes like 2 seconds. First off, shutter lever there, and then just click it. Make sure the mirror goes up. And right here, if you look at top, I was at, put these back on. on here, I was at 1/500th of a second. So you want to make sure to test a really fast shutter speed and a really slow shutter speed. So I'm going to go down to 2 right here, and now you'll see it'll be a lot slower. There you go. So I do that. I look through the viewfinder and make sure it's clear. This one's clear, and I hadn't done this part yet, but there's batteries in here. Most batteries, this one's I think is different, so I might have to list this a little different. But most batteries in these old film cameras that kind of look like this are LR44 batteries. There's one or two other ones, but LR44 is the most common one. So I'll test that, and then inside here in the viewfinder, once I get uh, that battery in there, a new battery, and you can buy those LR44 batteries online. I bought them off eBay. I used to buy them at the dollar store. You get 4 of them for $1. Well, it's $1.25 store now, but I think I bought 30 of them for like, no, I bought like, I'd like stocked up. I think I got 90 of them in there for like $11 or something like that. But you would make sure that the light meter works by, there's a needle in there that shows the aperture value. So you would kind of go like this with or without a lens, and make sure that needle's going. That way you would know the some of them you have to hold the shutter button halfway down. On other ones there might be a different little knob over here or something that you might have to press to see if that little needle goes up and down. Next thing I'll do is and this is one thing that's wrong with this. So to open the back shutter or back uh, film door right here, you pull that up, and some of them will have this little thing here that you have to pull down as well. This one is kind of stuck. Let me see if I get it open again. I'm gonna put this in the listing, of course, but it kind of had trouble. Well, let me get one that's a little easier so I don't struggle with it here on camera. Like this one. And I just look inside and go like that. Now I looked at a couple listings earlier of some like really high sales on some stuff that and the guy that sold them, he actually repairs them. I don't really repair anything. I'll just list them what's wrong with them, and let me finish with what I was saying. So if I've tested all that and all that's working, this camera is in working condition. Um, you don't have to run film through it. If you know what you're doing, you could just test all those things and list them as such. And I have gotten some listings on cameras that I'm selling for like 20 bucks, and they're saying, "Have you ran film through it?" I'm like, no, because it would cost over 20 bucks for me to test it with film in it. Because I think a lot of people might buy these cameras not knowing how much it costs. Film is expensive because they don't make much of it anymore. So you used to buy, a roll of film for $1 or $2. Now I sell big lots of expired film, and they could go up, I could have 15 rolls, and it will go up over $70 just for selling expired film still in the box. So, and then to process it, if you don't have your home dark room or whatever, it's very expensive to get that done. Some places you have to ship it out. There's none of that getting your pictures back in an hour like it used to be years and years ago. Anyway, but that's how I test them, and it works. I mean, I don't have return. My returns are, I wouldn't say low. I'll go over that in a second. Let me see what else here. Yeah, returns. So returns are kind of frustrating, and I try to. I need to word my listing a little bit better. It's hard to. A lot of people use their cell phone to buy off eBay, and it doesn't actually show the full description. It just shows that small description. So you'd have to actually click into it, and a lot of people don't click into that to see it. And it'll give you a more. You could actually type more in there and put more lengthy description. So I always put in the little short description sheet, see full description. So if there's anything wrong with it, that way they can go down there and see. But a lot of people, since this is technology based, you'll get newer photographers, and they don't ask questions. They've done something wrong, or they're like, they'll open a defective case. All the pictures are blurry or whatever. It's like, well, your shutter speed was too low. I wish you would have contacted me first, because if you get enough of these defects, people open defective stuff, it really hurts your account. So those are kind of disheartening, but it's just kind of something you have to deal with. I'll probably do a whole video on that, on how you deal with people like that. But overall, 99 plus percent buyers on eBay are good. It's just that 1% that try to scam or try to go around a return policy, because 99% of the stuff I get back where somebody said it was damaged or defective, I just go and I just relist it again. So that's how that that's how that works. Let's see what else. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Any more questions before I go? Like I said, I've been selling a lot of point and shoots lately. I guess I could show a few of those. Oh, I did another video. If this is your first time watching, Let me go grab it real quick. All right, I just grabbed a few more things I hadn't listed yet. And it's kind of cool that I use eBay as well. And like I said, or not eBay, YouTube, because I do a lot of uh, reviews about cameras on YouTube as well. So I get these cameras in, and if they're kind of unique or kind of different, be doing reviews on them before I sell them. So this is the latest one that I did a review on. This little Nikon. It's just like, I think it's the smallest digital camera ever made, but it's 10 megapixels. You can check that out. Just click on my channel after this, and I think it's one of my most recent videos. That's cool. So this one sells. I think I'm going to list it for 50. So it's cool. It was fun to play around with. That's a great thing about this. I've got this little Nikon. Is this digital? Yeah, older digital one. I hadn't tested this one out yet, and I hadn't even comped it, but it came in a big lot of stuff. This is a Coolpix 800. And you think some of these like low megapixel cameras wouldn't sell, but I actually sell quite a few of them. I mean, some of them are just like $20, but uh, I'm not really don't have $5 or less into them. But there's that. It's kind of big and chunky for a point and shoot. I don't see the megapixels on there. I have to Google it real quick, but kind of neat. Oh, it says record. It says record. I wonder how crappy the video is on this. It's like 240 VGA video or something like that. What else we got? We've got here's a little tip. So this was found on a film camera. Big lot of Canon film cameras, AF film cameras, the EOS brand. So if you find those, not all of them, but most of these lenses will work on DSLRs nowadays. So this one, I mean, you could pick up old Rebel EOS film camera and you'll get some of these lenses on there. This is a Sigma 28 to 105, and you can usually find those AF film cameras, Rebels, with a lens on them for $20 or something like that. So this lens, since it is a 28 to 105, I could probably sell this for 40 or $50. And there's been an uptick in some of those AF film cameras, so you could probably sell one of those Rebels for $20 to $30. A couple of years ago, I couldn't even sell it for $8. Pretty crazy. So there is some people that are getting back into film. So it's interesting. I wonder if any of these. Be curious to see if the film manufacturers, how much of an uptick if they've seen in selling, and are they increasing manufacturing it or whatnot. So yeah, that's that lens. I need to test it. So what I do have is, for these AF lenses, I've got a model from every manufacturer: Minolta, Canon, Nikon. So when I do buy some of these older film camera AF lenses, I'll try them on a digital camera just to make sure they work, because there's some quantum rays that don't work on Canon. So I kind of know doing this for a few years or more, I've kind of figured that out. And this one is another Canon that I got off a film camera. Let's read what this is. This is a 28 to 90 USM. Make sure to put USM in the title because people will search for that. Ultrasonic, and they were worth a little bit more that way. This lens sell for about between 40 and $50. It's an okay lens. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. If you're spending 40 or $50, I wouldn't expect the best quality, but it will get the job done. What else we got here? Last one, and then maybe done with this. This is Ricoh before Ricoh Pentax. This is I sell these. A lot of people like these just because it's Ricoh. This is a KR 5 Super 2. And if you start selling a lot of these, I have a few people that buy from me quite frequently. So I do have a lot of repeat buyers because I get some of this stuff and they know I test it out and they know I'm an honest seller and I have really good prices. So this is the Ricoh P. So it's got, oh, it doesn't have the automatic. I thought it had an automatic aperture on there. Yeah, it does. It's like grayed out, but there's an automatic aperture. On most of these, what this is automatic aperture. This will not, this is a Pentax K mount, but it will not, that P or program automatic aperture will not work on the modern day DSLRs, but it will fit on there completely fine. I've got my, I don't have my, no, I thought I had my, I shoot Pentax, so I have a digital Pentax, so this will fit on there fine and work. And this camera, Ricoh, they sold it at Sears, so you'll find a lot of these back when Sears was still popular and still in business. But anyway, this lens right here, which is a 35 to 70 f3.4 to f5.6, probably sell for around $30. And the camera, I haven't tested it yet. I'll do the same procedures like this one. Yeah, this one's a little different. You'll find some of this one's a little bit more modern than that last one I showed you. Some of them you have to put a battery in it for it to actually, the shutter to fire. And this does take LR44 batteries. So I'll have to put the battery in there to test it out to make sure it works first. But in general, these Ricoh, they're actually pretty good cameras considering they came from Sears. So decent camera. Let me see. Read the last few here. Oh, you're worried about Ricoh pen. Yeah, there's Ricoh pens. Let me see if this one has it. And actually, I mount all these on my K7. You might think that's a Ricoh pen. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not. Let me grab my. There was big rumors about these getting stuck on your camera and all that stuff years ago, but they won't unless you force the lens on the camera. So this one goes on fine. Now, if you get one of these and you just, and I try out all of them on my main camera, so it's probably why I've got a bunch of dust on my sensor. But anyway, so you just turn it, and if it's not going to turn, okay, it's not going to fit on the camera. I will put that aside, and I will sell it not for digital, because I don't want somebody to put it on there and try to jam the lens on there. But this one goes on there fine, as you can see, and pulls off fine. That Ricoh pen thing, I think that might have happened to one or two people that like forcibly tried to get it on the camera because it wasn't fitting and got stuck on there. I actually had somebody years ago, and I said I try these on all my cameras, and I've listed 4 K70, 4 whatever, K50, K30, all those different models like I do with these lenses. That's why they sell fairly quickly. I'm going to put this on there so there's no dust getting on. And the guy messaged me after the fact, after he got it. He's like, this got stuck on my camera and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, it didn't, because I tried it on my camera and it works fine. I guess he was reading something after the fact. And I mean, he actually said he put it on his camera and it got stuck. I said, no, it didn't, because I tried it on my camera. I know it works. And I basically called him out on it and then didn't hear anything. He's like, I have to pay for this to get repaired, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I don't know why people are like that. Just a lot of people just like, I don't know. Anyway, that was unusual eBay experience, but that was probably 8 years ago, I think, or something like that. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. I do eBay stuff occasionally, not all that often, but if you like my photography stuff, just go ahead and check out my channel. I've got photography stuff. I've got some food stuff, some camping stuff, some drum stuff. Like I said, I treat YouTube like MySpace, if that makes sense. just whatever I'm into at the time, I will put on YouTube because it's a lot of fun. I like making these videos. Uh, anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a good night. I will see you next time.